So my daughter Corey will be a regular feature for my intro for my Flossmas this month. She just got a kick out of that I actually did post that yesterday on my Flossmas with her being goofy. She is very funny, so hopefully that will be a little bit of comic relief during my Flossmas videos this month. Hello everyone, it's Jerry Caudell, the Yankee Creek Stitcher, back for Flossmas Day 9. It's Sunday, December 9th, 2018, and it's around noon. Husband's working this morning, my daughter's working this morning. I've done some house cleaning. One of my traditions for around the holidays is I get my husband and I a new sheet set from QVC. It's the Berkshire Blanket Company. They have the Polar Fleece sheet sets, and they are amazing. They are so warm and soft. We love them, and every year around this time, of course, QVC runs their specials. So yes, I'm totally doing a plug for QVC and their products, but they are fabulous. Absolutely love them. And this year they had like a snowflake print for their pillowcases as well. So this morning I changed out our sheet set and put the new soft, yummy sheet set on. So that's great for this time of the year because it is another very cold day here in Indiana. It's mid-20s. So I don't have like a whole lot going on today. I'll of course be heading to my studio here soon to start stitching on the wall hanging. And I actually decided to do, you know, the original pattern is for the table runner, but I think I'm going to shorten the table runner. So I'm going to still do the table runner as well as the 4 tree wall hanging. So it'll be a complimentary set because I do need a couple more table runners to put throughout the house. So I thought, why not, since I'm already cutting it out. So I'll be working on that today. And of course I'll have a new start. And I'm actually going to sit down probably for an hour or two and stitch on some things that I've already done this week, just to get to a good stopping point on them where I had the starts. So that's my plans today. And so I'll check back in periodically and let you know what's going on. See you soon. So I'm back in the kitchen today for just a short time. I wanted to share with you something I do every year. Usually every weekend I'll make a new pot of this. It's just a home scent that you just put on your oven. There's all kinds of posts for it on Pinterest. So this is just the basic recipe that I've found. The one key component to this that you need, that's very important, as you have this on your stovetop and are simmering it, you want to make sure you watch the water level. And as the water gets lower, you need to add more water to it, or else the fruit could catch on fire and cause a fire. So you want to make sure that you have it on a very low simmer, very low temperature. My stovetop goes from 0 to 9, and I'll keep this on about a 2 just to have it stay warm to release the scent. But it's very simple, and I keep all my ingredients on hand. Like I said, every weekend I'll put a new pot, refresh the pot. But once I start this today, later this evening after it cools down, I'll have the stovetop on for probably about 4 hours. That way the smell just kind of lingers in the house, and then I'll turn it off, let it cool down, and this evening I'll just put it in a bowl and put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow I'll pour it right back into the pan and set the temperature on, you know, 2 or 3 to get it warmed back up. But it'll stay good for several days if you just take it out of the pot and back in the fridge. But I love it. And today I don't have a sprig of pine or evergreen for that yummy balsam pine tree smell included in it. It's too cold for me to go outside, and my husband's not here for him to run out back to give me some, so I'll just go without today. It smells fabulous without it, but basically it's very simple, very quick, very simple. An orange that you just slice in half, and I just give it a squeeze, just trying to release that juice in there. And whole cloves, not the ground cloves, just the whole cloves before they're ground up. Oops. About a tablespoon or so. It smells amazing. About a cup of fresh cranberries, not the dried cranberries. I stock up on cranberries because come early January, you can't find them anymore in this grocery store. So I'll get several bags, stick them in my freezer, because I'll keep this as a home scent through at least February. I just love the smell. So I'll get several bags of cranberries and keep them in my freezer. So you just get about a cup's worth. Put those in there. And I got another order of cinnamon sticks in. And I'll put about 4 of these large ones in here. Stir it up really good. Make sure all the cranberries get covered. And that's it. And like I said, you can add evergreen or pine needle branch. I just don't have that today, but it gives that little bit of a Christmas tree smell. And I'm actually gonna put this on the back burner now, just so nobody hits it accidentally. And I'm gonna turn it up to about 7. And I'm just gonna watch it. I want it to kind of start steaming. It's like you don't really want it to come to a boil. The cranberries will all start popping. And after you hear maybe 1 or 2 pop, you can turn the heat down to about, like I said, a 2. It's really not going to simmer. It's just going to keep it warm, so it keeps releasing that scent into the house. I love it. Like I said, I have it all holiday long, probably through at least February. And that's it. Okay, everyone, I am back for dinner plans. This is a quick, easy, yummy recipe. It's a go-to for when we can't come up with anything else. Hot nacho dip is what we call it. I believe I had gotten this from maybe Pampered Chef and then just kind of tweaked it to our likings. Basically, it's a 9x13 casserole dish. I have a can of refried beans that I am simply going to smash down as my first layer. There's nothing nice or neat about it. Just cover the bottom with the refried beans. I have preheated my oven to 350, and I'm gonna bake this for about 20-30 minutes after I pop it in there. The next layer is an 8-ounce block of reduced fat cream cheese and about a cup of reduced fat sour cream. And I've added taco seasoning. I have just a big jar of the reduced sodium taco seasoning, which I put equivalent of about a package of the taco seasoning if you just buy it by the package. But I buy this big jar now because I use it all the time. So I just sprinkle in there enough that I would split a whole package between this, which like I said is 8 ounces of cream cheese and 8 ounces or a cup of sour cream. And I simply heated my block of cream cheese for about 30 seconds in the microwave, just to soften enough so that I could stir in the taco seasoning and the sour cream. And I am simply layering that on top of the refried beans. Like I said, you don't have to be nice or neat. It's just going on as the next layer. sorry, gotta smack that a little bit here. The next layer I'm putting on is, I think the recipe had called for 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm sorry, the recipe initially called for 1 pound of ground beef. I love to use ground turkey. My daughter does not like ground turkey. To me, it does not taste any different than ground beef. It really doesn't have much of a flavor at all to use ground turkey. So I do compromise. I use the 93.7 ground beef, and my husband likes to have his quite meaty, so I use 2 pounds of 93%, 7% fat ground beef, and that is simply going to, and I also put, if you use a package of the taco seasoning, I put the other half of the taco seasoning in the ground meat with a little bit of water just to flavor it up a little bit. That is simply going to go on top of the cream cheese sour cream layer. Smooth it out here. Next, I am going to put on some salsa. I love spicy. The spicier, the better. I love eating just jalapenos as candy. I love spicy. So my daughter does not. My husband doesn't like it as spicy as I do, but he likes it a little spicier than my daughter. So when it comes to spiciness, I have to kind of make it a happy medium for everyone. I am using a Hatch green chili salsa. I found this at Kroger's. I'm going to give you a close-up of this because the flavor of this salsa is so yummy. It's Jardines, and this is, like I said, the Hatch green chili. And the one I prefer is the ghost pepper. The flavor, the smokiness of this salsa is superb. Love it. And it is very spicy. Like I said, I love things spicy. That exceeds my needs. So I use the ghost pepper sparingly. So for this dish, I do have a little bit of an open jar of the ghost pepper. I will save that for after it bakes. And I'll put that on my self-serve portion. So I'm going to use the the Hatch green chili salsa to put on top of this dish, just so everyone's a little happy. None of us in my family like tomatoes. This is a little bit chunky, but I feel it's chunky enough. I think the chunky part of it is actually the green chilies, which my husband and I both don't mind. We just don't like big chunks of tomatoes or onions. So if I had taken the time, I normally will get salsa and put it in a food processor just to make it almost like a soup, because none of us really like the chunky onion salsa. But the big chunks in here are the green chilies, and my husband and I don't mind that. And it's big enough my daughter can pick it out if she feels the need. So after the salsa is added, this is an 8-ounce block of sharp cheddar cheese that I'm going to put on the top of this. After this bakes, and before, well, actually as we serve it and eat it, there's a little bit of a hot pepper cheese that I had left over that I'm adding on the top of this as well. But when we serve it, we use just some tortilla chips and eat it just like a chip and dip. But where all the meat and veggies are in there, it's you know, makes a great meal. But like I said, you can scoop this out on your plate, top it with some sour cream, lettuce. You could even use it as a taco filler or a fajita filler. Roll it up in your tortilla. But it goes in the oven just like this for about 30 minutes. The cheese will get nice and bubbly on the top, and That's all there is to it. It's quick, it's simple, it's nice and hot on these cold winter days, and we love throwing it together just as, you know, if we can't think of anything else, this is a fail-safe dinner idea. Okay, so this is the final product, hot out of the oven. It just stopped all the bubbling. All the cheese is melty, it's hot and ready to go. And I got the extra little toppings. We'll put some sour cream, jalapenos, and extra salsa on there, and of course the tortilla chips. So that'll be dinner tonight, and I will finish up this evening in my studio to update you on my stitching and how far along I progressed on my table runner and wall hanging for the day. Okay, so I had planned to cross stitch for an hour or two this afternoon, and then come to my studio and work for a couple of hours on my table runner wall hanging. Well, I actually cross stitched for 3.5 hours. I actually didn't start a new cross stitch today. I thought, you know what? I really want to stitch on this 'Tis the Season Cardinal. And so that's what I did. I stitched for about 3.5 hours on the Cardinal. But I look at how much I actually stitched on my fabric, and it doesn't look like a whole lot. I got most of its tail done, which, I mean, it's quite a bit, honestly. But as I stitched today, I had Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase on my TV. I actually watched I watched it through twice. That was in one ear. In the other ear, I had my headphones and was watching Flosstube while I was stitching. So it was about 3 hours and 45 minutes worth of stitching, but you know, when you watch Flosstube, you kind of go down a rabbit hole or two, which actually happened. I think I watched 3.5 episodes of Flosstubes, and they were all almost an hour long, and one of them was Kitten Stitcher, Teresa Vanette, and she mentioned that she had a sale on her website through midnight tonight. So if you're watching this tonight and you haven't got on there yet, visit kittenstitcher.com. She has 20% off if you enter the promo code HOHOHO, ho ho ho. You get 20% off all the items that is listed in her Christmas section. So once you go on there, hit the little sidebar that gives you a drop-down list of all of her items. Choose Christmas, and anything that's left in stock, you get 20% off. So there was so many things on there that was already sold out that I was so disappointed in, but I actually narrowed it down. I got one chart, and I got a fat quarter of a 32 count gingerbread linen that I'm super excited about getting. But there was other charts that I had to limit myself with all my purchases I've already had this month, and with Christmas gifts that I still need to purchase that I've thought about as I've stitched today and worked on my table runner. Like, I've only got like 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks from Tuesday left to shop, and I am usually an early Christmas shopper, and you know, September, October, like, I'm done. I can wrap all my things and put it under the tree, just have some few odds and ends to do in December, but I am very behind with my Christmas shopping, so I need to get on that. So I narrowed it down to one chart and one piece of fabric from Teresa's sale, but hop on there and see what's left and snag you something good. 20% off, that is a great discount. So I did make it into my studio for probably about 30 minutes. I was able to knock this out. The 21.5-inch strips for the trees and a 21-inch strip for the background, which was the gold dot on the cream colored fabric. I had to just stitch those together. and then press them all towards the background fabric. So I was able to stitch all those and then press all the strips towards the background fabric. So that is all ready. The next step in this progress is stitching. It's kind of a mirrored tree where each half is mirror to each other. Where it's kind of different than just, you know, cutting a strip of fabric and putting a couple different ends on the sides, kind of like a flying geese pattern. So there's like angles you have to cut each strip at. So I'm going to tackle that tomorrow. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening here, Sunday evening. My husband, it's his long week to work. His day off is on Thursdays and then every other weekend. So he's worked Friday through today, and his next day off won't be until Thursday. So I am going to spend the rest of the evening either watching some TV or, depending on what he's up to, maybe play some games. We've spent the last few evenings on the couch watching movies and me watching floss tubes and stitching, so he may want to get off the couch for a little bit. We'll play some cards or a game or something, just to, you know, end the week on a fun note. So like I said, I did not start any new chart today, but I did stitch on the 'Tis the Season Cardinal, and I'll share with you my progress on that Thursday with my regular floss tube. Tomorrow I do plan to have a new start, so I will touch base with you tomorrow. Happy Flossmas Day 9. Merry Christmas.